to champion select. Let's take a look at what's going to be contested. We've seen a lot of Tristana play from Woolite recently, and in the LCS we saw so much Jinx, so much Cogmore, so many of these late game AD carries who had no escapes. Now he's got the Tristana, which is like the best of both worlds. So I wonder if we're going to see a ban there, so you can exploit that weakness. But Irelia will be banned out, Twisted Fate, Fresh, and Kalista. Irelia, of course, at Wicked, big Irelia player.
Yeah, it's synonymous with the champion when you look at it. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad ban at all, because although Kuban is a big Irelia player himself, I don't think you'd be looking to first pick that away from Wicked, whereas Wicked tends to be happy to just play it into anything. The rest of the bans, Twisted Fate banned away from Take Fun, so they really don't want that global pressure. Thresh, Alistar are fairly standard. Overclockers, I assume, will open with a support pick here, or a Sivir. They're either going to go support here or Sivir, because they banned 2 supports out away from Wendelbo. They obviously respect him quite a lot down in that support role.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing really well on pretty much every champion he's played. Livic as well, great on the Fresh. We actually have a lot of good Fresh players in EUCS. Pretty much every support player is great in our champion.
We do. I bring up a couple of other first picks here. As I said, the Sivir, because Kalista's banned. Overclockers chose not to ban it themselves. Junglers are open, but both of them are available, so it's no real rush to get them. Ezreal still available for this game as well. And Overclockers, they're going to build themselves a Sivir comp, which...
Haven't seen that one before.
Never seen that in the EU LCS or anything like that before, but certainly we'll see if it works from Overclockers. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, Siv's a great champion. You can listen to the Visio talk about it for as long as you want.
Yeah, super strong. What we did see yesterday from Overclockers was Nautilus top. It was the first competitive showing in Europe, at least, of Nautilus top. It lost. So one day we're going to see a win from Nautilus top. It was not yesterday. Nope. Wicked has picked up Gnar and looking for the Rek'Sai as well. Have seen some Gnar play from Wicked. It's another one of the champions he's added to his champion pool with the Malphite, with the Irelia, with the Hecarim. So he's just going to pick this very early into the picking phase. There's the Nautilus. Will Kuban try it again? Will he redeem himself? I hope so.
I hope not, because if Nautilus wins, I have to put up with that.
It's viable. I mean, Darius won with it. It's got to be good, right?
Yeah, okay.
That enemy lost.
I can see that.
Either way, Denial Esports, what do they bring in now? They've got the top lane and they've got the jungle.
And speaking of jungle, Lee Sin locked in for Tabasco, not opting for Gragas at this point, which is the still tier 1 jungler when Rek'Sai is picked in as well. That's really weird that you'd opt for a jungler that a lot of people regard as being a step down from what is first pick, or at least high priority worthy. So we'll see whether Tabasco can get himself rolling, because he didn't actually do all that much in yesterday's game at all.
Yeah, interesting to see what dynamic he'll bring to the team as well. Condi-san just fit into the team. Right. He's a good jungler. Will Tabasco do more, as he's been subbed into the team? We're looking for the Morgana. That will be locked in. There's the Tristana again for Woolite. We're just seeing this pretty much almost every game when he can get his hands on it now. Yep,
4th game for Tristana for Woolite. Yeah. So that is, I guess, if nobody's going to ban it, and it's available and it's working well for you, pick it. I mean, Woolite knows how to get a lead. Tristana allows him to hold the lead very well and scale later into the game. Also gives Denial the ability to push towers very quickly. Tabasco yesterday went 1-3-0 on the Gragas. We saw him pick it, so maybe that is the reason why he doesn't feel comfortable picking the Gragas today.
Right.
Remains to be seen, though.
But where else does he go? Does he just always go for damage junglers? And if Rek'Sai's taken off the table, then you go Lee Sin, and there would you go? Maybe with Nidalee, something like that. What are the next 2 picks-ups going to be from Overclockers? They need a top laner, unless it's going to be Nautilus. I'd like it to be, but I don't know if it makes sense here.
They need something that'll deal damage later into the game. I look at the likes of Azir at this point. And then top lane, I assume they're looking for something different. They're leaving it pretty late to change them.
Oh, it's going to be locked in. Okay, I guess it is Yasuo top or Azir top, and then like Runeglaive Yasuo?
Both we've... I hope not.
I hope so.
Because in top lane, you need teleport. So that's why it probably won't be if it is top lane Yasuo, because Yasuo doesn't have an escape.
We'll see where it swaps into.
We'll see. We've actually seen both champions played in the top lane previously, so it's a weird one. But one thing that we've actually seen from Yasuo play is he's actually considered somewhat of a counter to Na up in lane, so I assume it's going to be Yasuo top. And when you trade very heavily with the mini Na, you're able to stop a lot of the damage. So it's a niche pick that we've seen in other regions, but at this point, now it's on Overclockers to not allow Wicked to engage with the Mega now when it's available.
It's funny because Yasuo, all the way back in the day, JWoww used to play. Morsu as well played it in the playoffs, up against, I believe it was Origin in their game in top lane. So we've seen it before, even by these level of players. So bring it up against Wicked's Nah, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think it's a... As I said, we've seen it in other regions.
Yeah.
So it certainly is a pick that isn't just Kubon going, hey, I want this, which I would
what I'm gonna do.
Maybe attribute Morsu's to a little bit more. But, you know, that was the past. This is now. This is a different setting. And we get to see what Kubon can do, because honestly, I feel like Overclockers had to do something different here, because they just haven't been looking great. Yesterday's game, 23-minute loss. Not great.
They are now the only team to have 0 wins, now that Ex Nihilo picked up their first.
That's not fair, because they've played one less game.
Yeah, well, it could be this one, Stress.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, okay. You're right.
Let's look at these comps. Kubon in the top lane with his Yasuo going up against that Gnar. You mentioned about the mechanics. Should be able to block the boomerang coming in from the mini Gnar, make it very difficult for the Mega Gnar to do anything. Kind of like swatting a fly. Like you come in with the wallop and he's just like dancing around you. Pretty much how that matchup works.
Yeah, I've now got visions of that being what happened yesterday, as I noticed your Twitter with you and having a bug fly into your room, and you decided to tweet about it for 20 minutes rather than actually deal with the bug. But nevertheless, over on the other side of the map is, I guess, a bit of a bug. Rek'Sai. It's kind of, is it a, no, it's not a bug at all. It's just a void creature. But Kyrie on a standard jungler, Tabasco is on somewhat standard with regards to Lee Sin, but we kind of have already touched on that. We'll see how Tabasco does in his second game. But honestly, on the other side of the map, Denial have a fairly straightforward composition. They got heavy late game scaling. This isn't a particularly meta composition, but it has a very clear goal on get to late game and crush you with a lot of damage.
Yep, Azir, he's a bird. He eats bugs. Trying to eat Denial, I guess.
Can we stop this discussion? It's really bugging me.
Oh my god. Yeah, we got to get away from this one. Got to hear your opinion on bugs as you hop over to Twitter. And which team do you think is going to win? Overclockers use OC win, or Denial use DNL win? And we'll be checking in on your opinions later today. So far, they've been ringing true.
Yeah.
Pretty decisively, apart from the Ex Nihilo game. That was not true.
Yeah, it was 50-50 aim bad.
Yeah, it's a percentage. Let's get into this one. Overclockers on the blue side, Denial on the red. Denial eSports on the up and up after the eSports Festival. Can they take that momentum into the Challenger Series up against Coupon, who is now on Yasuo in the top lane? Let's have to see how this dynamic will work out as well.
So, Coupon can add his name to a fairly prestigious list of players, I suppose, that have been attempting the Yasuo in recent days. If my memory serves me correctly, Impact, I believe, even played it in NALCS, and I think it was one of the KT Rolster games. I think Someday played it as well. So, you know, he can put himself into good company.
Impact, with Someday, Morsu, all these players. He's now joined the list of top Yasuo players.
Hall of Fame Yasuo top laners right there.
Oh, Wicked going to be running away from Kubon here. Meanwhile, Wendelbo getting that sick harass onto Levick. Will be getting all that money. Now 15 gold in the bank. Selova finds his ward. It was placed down by Warlight, but overall the team's just fanning out, getting a little bit of early vision. If they can be cheeky and put down a ward into the opposing jungle, get some more vision, that'd be great. But so far it's just all up and down the river. Kyrie is able to get that one down just as Tabasco's walking away. And Wendelbo getting all these tormented soils down. Trying to get that extra value from his Spell Thief's Edge and his Masteries. Tabasco and his Lee Sin, though. We have seen some Lee Sin play, but it's so early game, right? Like, you have to get an advantage early game, otherwise you just don't do a whole lot. Of course, there's still the potential for the insect plays.
Well, It's got the same problems it always has. Is that, as you said, early game is his dominant period, but against junglers the likes of Rek'Sai, the likes of Gragas, he's doesn't really offer too much more than them in the early game as it is, and they tend to just offer more. We did, however, see Unicorns of Love playing Lee Sin. Kickers played it in their week 5 games where they went back to Lee Sin Syndra and played a pick composition. So it's not out of the question. The other thing that the Lee Sin will do is give another way of facilitating Kuban and his ultimate. There's actually a lot of knockups on the side of Overclockers, or at least displacements, to get the Yasuo ult to work with. You've got the Lee Sin kick, you've got Emperor's Divide, you've got the Nautilus ultimate as well. So lots of ways of Kuban getting into the fight.
There is. Whether he can survive once he's got into the fight, that's another question.
Yeah.
Right, and Wicked, 2-manning in the jungle. Tabasco taking away this red buff as well. And now Kuban heading through this jungle as we do have this lane swap in full effect. It is Woolite in the top lane. And now the blue are going to be taken away here by Denial. Overclockers heading into the opposing jungle to potentially take away those blue buffs as well. So they should be trading these buffs, so they shouldn't be falling behind too much. So
yesterday we saw Overclockers initiate the lane swap to get themselves more pressure onto the Aurelia and fall very far behind because of it. This time Denial have initiated the lane swap to try and get more pressure onto the Yasuo, and this time they're looking to pick up a couple of kills for themselves at the beginning of the game. In goes Kyrie, gets a flash.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take that. Didn't even have to use his own at that point. So real easy trade there. And now Take Fun walks in, wards, and finds himself Wicked in the bush. So Overclockers know that they can now look to push the turret because there were 2 people mid rather than on the turret. But look at how fast Tristana pushes turrets. It's not at the same rate as Overclockers, but that's 2 people against 4. And every time that explosive shot comes up, they're going to start chunking that turret faster and faster.
Yeah, Overclockers should definitely get this bottom turret. They have another minion wave coming in as well, so it's right here. Denial, can they take this turret? It's down to 50% HP. Does anyone go top? Kuban has teleport if he wants it. He's level 2, up against definitely a Woolite and Wicked, and probably a Kirei if he goes up there. So he may just want to walk it, may not want to teleport straight in and then leave himself exposed up there.
Celever manages to wait until the last possible moment to get it. So, however, repeat gank in the mid lane. This time Take Fun. Ooh, Kyrie didn't quite get it.
No, he unburrowed at the wrong place, and Take Fun just walked away from it. So
and he used his flash for that.
Yeah, so now he's down to flash. Take Fun's down to flash. Cosq still has his, but he's not the key player when it comes to these ganks in the mid lane. Kuban has managed to reach the top turret before it went down. Kuban was looking for the knock-up from the Steel Tempest into the Sweeping Blade. The rest of the team was there just in case he landed a knock-up.
Kyrie is being very active on the map this early on in the game. Now it's Celever's turn to have the Queen of the Xerxai appear in lane. Now Kyrie goes in.
He's looking for the knock-up, but great spell shield. Great spell shield timing from Celever will stop that knock-up from coming through. There's been a lot of good mechanical outplay so far in this game.
Yeah, there's Kyrie, as I said, being very active early on. One thing I kind of want to draw attention to is Take Fun has opted for Barrier on Azir in the middle lane. Oh, Kuban actually got hit by that binding.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to die here, or he may die if he just jumps straight into the 2 players. Doesn't really have anywhere to run now. There comes the exhaust. The ward comes out as well for Vision. He's going to try and jump away. Gets the knock up the Steel Tempest. Libic comes in with the flash and the lockdown onto Libic, but there's First Blood going over to Woolite before he gets there in time. I feel like if Kuban had just run away, he might have been okay.
I feel like if Kuban had predicted the, had like read the lane and windwalled the Dark Binding, he was holding on to Windwall to try and just stop Woolite's follow-up damage. But if you're stunned, or at least, you know, if you're rooted and Tristana can just walk through the Windwall, I mean, it's not going to save you at that point. So that's an interesting, you know, trade by Kuban. But he knew he was 1 versus 2 at that situation. Now he's got Libic beside him. Black Shield, you know, is going to be enough for now, but Libic, I mean...
Yeah, level 3 versus this gank now coming in from Kirei, gets knocked up and gets taken down. There's just another kill going over from Denial. That was bizarre.
Really bizarre. I mean, Libic just continued to go aggressive. I mean, Kuban wasn't with him.
No, he was just
Denial
minions.
just had the numbers advantage, and they knew it. That really weird. This game is starting out basically how yesterday started, was in the lane swap, Overclockers fell apart, and it's happening again at this point. Now, 2 kills already from Denial onto Overclockers. It looks like we're in for a repeat game, same as yesterday. And, that doesn't really spell a good time for Overclockers.
Yeah, and this has all been really started off. The momentum swing has been started off by Kirei. He's just been going from lane to lane, adding pressure, getting some summoners, and then each lane is just one for Denial. The question is, will they just go from lane to lane and manage to take down these turrets and have the same aggression as they did yesterday and decision-making, which basically gave Overclockers no room to breathe. They had no recourse.
I mean, keep in mind that Overclockers should be forcing Denial into fights in the earlier portions of this game because of how Denial need time to scale. Kozq needs to stack his tier, Woolite just needs to get a couple of items under himself, but they're not in situations to do that because of the lane swap, and then they're playing the lane swap just pretty inefficiently when it comes to the trades that they're taking. Yes, they are getting farm onto Celeber, he is ahead. There is a kill onto Woolite at the same time, and they're being active on the map. Take Fun once again pushed out. This time, Flash just becomes available for him, so he will be fine. But again, Take Fun is being forced away from his lane, and Kozq is just getting extra time to farm.
And talking about farming, let's look at the top laners, or rather the solo laners. Kuban is slightly further ahead in terms of farm, but Wicked is just straight up frozen the minion wave here. It's actually pushing away from him now, but he's going to get a lot of this farm and the next wave as it comes towards him. So the top lanes are fairly even. The mid lane is where it's starting to open up with Kozq with the advantage. Bot lane Celeber is slightly ahead, but with those 2 kills being down, it's created that 1k gold advantage. Wicked
is also set on about 1,300 gold right now, so hasn't been forced back yet, but Kyrie has been caught mid lane. That's going to be enough for Overclockers to group for maybe this middle tower, but they have got Morgana coming in from the side, and the wave clear from Cassiopeia is just too strong right now. There's no way they can effectively push up on this turret, even with that many people there.
Yeah, Cassiopeia can clear out a wave basically by herself, even against a large number of people from Overclockers, and that rotation just didn't do a whole lot.
And one of the reasons that she's so efficient at cleaning waves and being in that kind of situation is you cannot dive a Cassiopeia with her ultimate up. It's suicidal to do it, because you have to front-on engage from that, unless you have a very efficient flank, because Kozq's just going to ult you, you'll sit under the turret, he'll walk away, he'll ghost away in this situation, and then just kind of laugh as you die to his turret and your minions die to the poison. So that's why Overclockers can't force that issue anymore. And tie into that, Take Fun, as I alluded to earlier, has taken Barrier, which means if he gets caught by the Petrifying Gaze, he is pretty dead, because it's not going to take Cassiopeia all that long to chunk even through the barrier shield.
It's interesting you took the barrier, though, in this game where there's a Morgana binding, a Morgana ult, there's a Cassiopeia ult, there's a knock-up that can't be cleansed, but there's also a stun from Wicked. Let's see if it works out, though. There'll be that one clutch situation where the barrier was better than the cleanse.
Yeah, I mean, what Take Fun is basically saying is he doesn't want to put himself into any situation where any of that crowd control is going to land, but I think he's going to be dragged into it.
Come on, Kirei. He's only level 4, and he's going to be dredge-lining himself to safety to flash over the dead turret. The rest of the team was coming in to assist the 2v2 with Wicked and Kirei. So they do get the flash out of the Nautilus, but he was so close to death.
So Tabasco in this early game, 21 farm to 37, but it's all about the experience lead as well, as Kirei has himself the level over Tabasco, and you can see Tabasco is kind of forced to just assist his lanes, which opens the map completely for Kirei. No vision on this for Overclockers means that Kirei, it's going to be a slow one until Cassiopeia gets there, but it should be a fairly safe dragon for themselves.
Yeah, Tabasco now heading for his jungle here, and is not even going to try and contest the dragon. DNL just played this game so exceptionally well, even from the very start of the game where they saw the Yasuo coming in against the Gnar. They lane swapped it, and then no longer had that matchup. They picked up those kills early on. They've now rotated towards the dragon, denied the vision. Everything has been pretty much by the book from DNL, and Overclockers have made a couple of mistakes which have been exploited, but overall haven't been that proactive.
No, they haven't. I mean, I guess we have to look at exactly what Overclockers can do from this situation, because they're by no means out of the game at all. It's only a 1,000 gold lead right now. We know that Denial now have to just spend a lot of time getting items, stacking things up. This is no longer the same kind of situation as yesterday's game, because Overclockers are in a far better place than they were yesterday. So Overclockers, they have to use this Yasuo strength against the Nara and kind of just almost chase Wicked around the map with being in position, or force Wicked to come up and deal with you is more of what I should say on that one. And just force down turrets using it, because they know the matchup is better for Yasuo than Nara, so utilize that. The problem is, the distraction that Denial are causing with this Tristana is just unanswered right now for Overclockers.
Unanswered indeed, and so is this push in bottom lane, because Woodlight just took a turret with Kira, and now he's about to take another one. Kuban is the only one who's coming to assist, and this tower will be almost dead by the time they arrive. Only now is Tabasco really reacting, coming in from his bottom jungle as he comes in from the top side, so it's enough to push Dinao away from now, but they'll be back. They'll be back for that turret.
And the thing is, I don't even feel like they need
to...
Petrifying gaze.
I was trying to say pretzel-fying gaze.
Pretzel. Wow. That'd be a tasty, tasty treat. Just need some hot sauce to go with that. I know a jungler that can maybe lend some help with that one, but oh, Saliva.
Yeah, but he's not lending help right now to Saliva, as he's gonna tick down from the E from Woodlight. Not quite enough damage just yet. Tabasco does not land the Q. He was looking for the kick, but he didn't get it in time. Woodlight over the wall. Wendelbow is here as well. Gets the Soul Shackles down, and the lock onto Saliva. Yeah, with the Dark Binding. The team isn't really wanting to go for that 3v3 right there, but is able to disengage effectively.
And at this point, Denial once again is just buying time for Wicked to get elsewhere on the map, now looking for the mid lane. Has some damage onto Take Fun, but it's not really enough to chase. But he's just a presence right now, and is able to just continue to push. Kyrie's going very aggressive, though. Here comes the teleport.
Bursting from the ground comes in. Another great Dark Binding onto Livik, and this time he can't get away. His fate is sealed. He's only level 5, still doesn't even have his ultimate. And from that, Denial will take away this red buff as well. Yeah,
I imagine they'll look to leave Wicked down in the bottom side and look to take the tower from it as well. He is probably going to cross over to the minion wave and push it in, but Kuban, meanwhile, is pushing down a turret, but he's been in this top lane for so long. We saw the trade earlier go from top lane, and Woodlight has been able to push the turret down in bottom lane, get damage onto the inner, recall, and get back top. And Kuban never took that turret.
Oh, flash over the wall into the Dark Binding, point blank onto Take Fun. Perfectly executed by Denial. The Emperor's Divide doesn't really do much at all. 4-0 right now on Denial. Yes, there is that CS advantage in the top lane because Kuban's been solo laning, but still, falling behind in this game are Overclockers.
I mean, I wish that this was a situation where Overclockers were even holding this game close. I don't particularly... Well, this is the play that can do it, actually.
Knock up into
that's
the
what they
last
need.
breath. Kuban will take him out. Top tower will go down, evening up the turrets, the 2-2. 1 kill on the board. That's what they needed.
And that's the thing about this game, is Overclockers, Denial are by no means playing a perfect game. And Overclockers just need to exploit that with those missed positions from Denial and just make sure that they're making use of everything that Denial have given them. Again, you see the top lane pick, you see nobody around the mid lane tower, and you've whittled it down along this game, and Overclockers are finally able to finish off these low health objectives that they've been working for so long. They just let a lot of things go in the meantime. This is now a good platform for them to build with. They've managed to close a lot of the gold lead that Denial had and can now look to maybe take fights here because, remember, as I said, Denial need extra time here to get their composition going.
Yeah, now is the time for Overclockers really to be fighting up against this Cassiopeia and the Tristana. As you mentioned, later this game goes on, the scarier they are going to get. This blue buff will now go over to Denial as they set up for this dragon. No doubt the water will come down as well with only 1 minute to go.
So the important point is Sivir is about to back and pick up her Infinity Edge. At that point, really then you just kind of commit to this dragon in 50 seconds. You at least commit to denying Denial, if you'll excuse the very awkward way of having to use that word now. Although I kind of do know that pain, trying to say the word stress in normal life certainly does become
Your
a pain.
ears just perk up. It's like, you called?
It's more people do that, and I'm like, no, just no. As Denial, they're going to look to take this dragon in 25 seconds, but Overclockers want to engage in the middle lane instead.
Well, not.
Oh, Kyrie's going
bottom. The bottom lane. Oh, gets the knock-up as he's trying to get to the Sand Soldier. One more auto attack. Kozq just needs to get in range. Oh, it's a Prey Seeker from Kirei.
Prey Seeker and now the turret going down, so Denial actually forego the dragon because they spot Overclockers a little bit vulnerable in the bottom lane themselves, and Denial pick up another kill to add to the tally. Now will swing out because Overclockers in theory can't contest against this. Denial actually don't have to rush to the dragon with a lot of people. All they got to do is hold back Overclockers in the mid lane.
And also, to go towards this dragon as well. Kozq is melting through this dragon very quickly with Kirei just waiting. Doesn't have this might. Just going to finish off with a couple Queen's Wrath auto attacks. Mid lane though, Overclockers are trying to push in. They take a Constellation Raptor camp for that dragon. The second one going over to Denial. What's that? Kubon in the solo lane again. No one there to respond. Wicked now coming up here. Has opted towards the Frozen Mallet first, different from what we saw last game, where we saw the Black Cleaver being the item of choice as the first item. But Wicked will just do the same.
Yes. Now Kubon's going to back. He's got himself a BF sword. How much gold's he got? About 1,000, so I expect even more AD and crit, as you'd expect. Yeah, so building towards that Infinity Edge, picks up the pickaxe. Kind of wondering whether he was going to go for the crit cloak, but opts just for that extra flat damage. For now. Sometimes you'll see the Blade of the Rune King, but yeah, this time definitely the Infinity Edge. The bread and butter for Kubon in the top lane now. Tabasco actually opted towards the Warrior enchant actually on Lee Sin. Has been making some plays, has been trying to make others, which have been countered out by Denial. Question is, how much is he able to do through the rest of the game? Because it's now 19 minutes into this game. Has his relevance as a damage threat scaled off yet? I still think he's got a little bit of time. I think so. One thing that kind of we'll track throughout the game is exactly how long or in what situations are Kubon and Wicked 1v1 against each other. Kubon has actually avoided most of them recently, and that was a nice attempt there onto Denial from Overclockers, but Overclockers have actually not really utilized this favorable matchup for themselves at all in this entire game. And that now makes the picks and ban strategy from Overclockers so much more difficult to play out. Yes, as we said, they have a lot of knockups for the teamfight facilitation. But if Kubon is out split pushing at the beginning of the fight and all of the engaged tools and knockups are already used from Overclockers, then it's difficult for him to actually get himself into the fight with last breath.
That's true. Yeah, teleporting in late can sometimes be beneficial because as more of an assassin pick, you do want to be slightly later as everyone is being softened up. But at the same time, you do also need a way to trigger your last breath. Well, there's the Cellular ultimate trying to get on top of Kozq. He will be flashing away. The depth charge will bring him very far away from this fight. Wicked now coming in with the wallop, gets the knock-up as well. Kirei will come in and take him out. Libic is also getting chunked, doesn't have the support of his allies. Take Fun following up with the damage, get them with the Emperor's Divide. Tabasco now comes in, lands the Q, lands the autos, flashes forwards, lands the last auto, and Wicked does manage to take him out. Take Fun trying to respond with the damage. Sever now going one-on-one with Wallop with the support of Take Fun. This has been a very messy fight, but has resulted in a 3-for-3 so far, unless Take Fun can get anything else. Looks like that's not the case.
Overclockers managed to drag Denial into a fight at the exact time in the game that they should be looking for that kind of situation, and Overclockers take a fairly even trade. Consider that Denial have had the lead for all of this game. Overclockers dragging Denial into that fight is basically how they're going to be able to come back into this. They have to take these fights. You can see how much damage Celiva had, but now Wicked has brought himself back. Take Fun is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you're not going to outrun the Frozen Mallet there, Azir. And he will get caught out and die. The middle turret did go down now, 3-3 in turret as well. There's 2 Dragon advantage. It's not up for another couple minutes to go yet, though. Mid lane Kozq has actually opted towards the Archangel staff very early on, along with the Abyssal Scepter. So, yeah, upgrading that a little bit earlier. Bot lane, though, Kubon. A little bit caught out. He'll be teleporting away. Will he get disrupted? I mean, Wicked doesn't really have anything, so no, he will not. But that is the teleport down, pretty much syncing up with Wicked's, though.
Yeah, that, as you said, well, there'll be a slight window, but it's nothing really to write home about. Overclockers, however, will exploit Wicked being down in the bottom lane with no teleport as the opportunity to put some mid-turret damage down. Only Tabasco got hit by that, so if that had been a carry, they probably would have wanted this engage a lot more. Now Kubon manages to find Kyrie on the flank. His Overclockers, you know, this game has started to really turn in their favor. They're starting to actually look like a fairly effective team when it comes to trying to set up these skirmishes.
It's now down to Denial and whether they can shift gears and go into a more defensive position to allow their carries to scale up, because so far it's just been aggression, 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 let's kill people. But if they can just acknowledge that they can't just fight constantly, then that might be what they need to do.
Well, nothing has really stopped Denial's carries from at least just accruing gold at this point. Tristana is on her way to finishing the Phantom Dancer as well, so a little bit behind the second item spike as Celiva just finishes his Static Shiv, but that's because Phantom Dancer, a bit more of an expensive item, but in the long haul is going to give more damage overall in prolonged engages. So honestly, Celiva is going to have a tough time later into the game because Woolite is just going to be able to just completely rain damage down as fast as possible. But Denial have slowed in this game, that is for certain. Towers are even. Dragons are in favor of Denial. Let's not lose sight of that. 30 seconds to go for potential Dragon number 3 for them.
Overclockers right now just need a fight. The Dragon could cause that to erupt. Kirei very far forwards on the front lines, trying to tag people with the Prey Seeker, get that vision. Kozq and Woolite are the ones to siege in the middle lane here. And the minion wave will be evaporating fairly quickly. Got to get away from that turret as it will explode from Woolite's explosive charge. Kirei just being a nuisance around the side. Kubon still in another lane farming, but he may be required in the mid lane, and he is now rotating in. Wicked has been caught out by Livic, or has Livic been caught out by Wicked? Kirei over the wall was looking for the knock up, but he wasn't even needed. Livic is already dead.
Just landed the hook, and then, as you said, maybe it was Wicked playing a bit of mind games then, knew that he wasn't going to die anytime soon. Yes, he was mini-now, but Frozen Mallet plus 2 Ruby Crystals. And the Warden's Mail was enough to keep him alive at that point, and it's all Denial need to get a turret and now turn towards Dragon.
Yep, and zero vision for Overclockers. Their vision over the last couple of minutes has been lacking and also been taken away by Denial. In terms of just like the vision game, there's not a lot of upgrades of trinkets at all. Mid lane on Kozq still has just his basic trinket. Only now has Wicked gone back, so both teams haven't been paying a huge amount of attention. It's just been bought wards coming in from Denial, where you can see all over the map right now. Yeah,
they're also running that double sight stone style with direct sight as well, so they've had at least enough wards on the map to give themselves decent vision over what Overclockers have been doing, but the same can be said for Overclockers. There's been enough ability to put wards down, but at the same time, as you said, not a whole lot of upgraded sweepers early enough to clear stuff out.
Yeah, also a lot of pink wards now being placed down, so that has allowed them to recover a bit of vision, as we were saying that, but yeah, trying to just stay on top of that mini-game. But 4,000 gold advantage over to Denial in this game. 3 dragons, 1 tower advantage over Overclockers. They do have that gold lead, as we mentioned. Lots of items being picked up. I do wonder what the breaking point is, though, of where Denial will just be straight up stronger. Because obviously they're scaling up, but when does that point come where they are just going to defeat Overclockers in basically every scenario?
In every scenario, we're a little way off that, but I feel like the actual strength is very, very close when it comes to Denial just being stronger in most straight-up fights. Rabadon's death cap nearly complete onto Kozq is going to be a real big factor in that. And now Kubon's caught.
All Kubon wanted was the one-on-one against Wicked. Instead, he's going to get ganked by Kirei and dropped very low and actually jump back into the enemy team. Looks like Overclockers will actually go for this fight. Everyone has already chunked from the team, though. Livic is there. He gets a CC onto the back lines, but they don't really have a whole lot of damage. Takefun has been glued against the wall by Wicked. Receives the house as well. There's the Petrifying Gaze for the double kill in from Kozq. And now Celiva is getting chased down. There's the Prey Seekers to assist and gets slapped down by Wicked's Meganar. A 4-for-0 plus the tower, and no doubt the inhibitor turret as well.
That is, again, Denial just taking another team fight. This time, they managed to turn it out onto Overclockers and get themselves a fairly early inhibitor, and they will back away. But again, just denial. Overclockers have a composition that should be able to teamfight, but they gave away so much early into the game that they've just been behind the entire time and never were really able to take many decisive team fights. They took an even trade of 3 for 3, but that one certainly denials as absolutely squashing Overclockers.
Yeah, Overclockers showed some signs of life and now look like they've almost given up in this game as well, as we saw yesterday. They are still trying to just farm up, but we haven't seen the Yasuo do much. Like, he was denied the one-on-one, but then in team fights has not landed like a multiple man last breath following like a good multiple knock-up or something that would allow him to get into a fight. So yeah, it's going to be hard for Overclockers to come back into this game, but Denial going to make it harder for them. That ward died very quickly. Wenelbo putting more vision into the top sides of the map. Baron may be the objective now. In the bot lane, CosQ may have found Kubon, so we might find ourselves a one-on-one here. Wicked is closing in, so Kubon's kind of up against the clock. There's the Petrifying Gaze. Windwall won't help you on that one. Gets the knock-up into the last breath. Should be able to take him down with the last crit. 305 damage is quite significant. Now he finds himself in another one-on-one. A new challenger approaches in the form of Wicked. Now Kirei looks to seal the deal with this 2-on-1. Tries to go for the teleport, but Kubon will be interrupted here. Now has to try and trade with Kirei, but he's too tanky. And Wicked supplies the damage. The rest of the team, though, there was so many members committed to him that he may be able to pick up the middle lane, or Woolite will just blow up Tabasco, and now he jumps in aggressively, but this is a good jump into Libic for the next kill and the next reset. Looking for Take Fun, just needs one auto to finish him off. Reads that he's going to jump over the wall of the flat, sees him with the Rift Scuttle of Vision, and Kirei's trying to get in range, hits him with the Prey Seeker, tunnels after him, looking to go through this route which has been blocked off by the Emperor's Divide, but Denial are okay with that. They'll just go for the Baron.
This is going to be one of the easiest Barons Denial are ever going to take after that set of trades. And Denial have just looked in full control. Everything Overclockers have tried to do to just upset Denial's flow in this game has been completely shut out from them. And you know, Overclockers have been trying. This Yasuo has worked in certain situations, but they never really have been able to get the comp running with the 1 versus 1. And Wicked is probably at this point, I would really say, is too strong for Kubon to even deal with, and probably has been for the last 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think this is a matchup that he's going to win anymore. Rewind half an hour, yes, but yeah, at this stage, maybe not. Hey, we've actually seen the Hurricane now coming in again from Wicked, but actually before the...
That's an early Hurricane.
Yeah, before the Black Cleaver, so he's actually just getting the added value from the Frozen Mallet, so he can slow 3 targets at once. It's very interesting. Because we saw that, of course, after the Black Cleaver last time he built it.
I mean, the problem for Overclockers right now is they're playing a composition without really a main tank. They've got Lee Sin, who has some tankiness to him, but now they're against a later game scaling double threat, well, triple threat composition in this setup. And they have nobody that can absorb damage at all, which means every fight they have to avoid and just give away objectives to Denial.
That is a lot of damage onto Libic to start off this fight, and everyone is just getting blown up on Overclockers. That point about no one being tanky could not be more true. No one is able to take the damage from Denial, and it's only Take Fun who will also be taken down. A 5-0, even underneath their inhibitor turret, and that's just going to be Overclockers throwing in the towel. Denial take the game up in the second game of the week.
I mean, another convincing performance from Denial in this third week of games. Certainly the turnaround since their roster changes, now they've had time, seems to be working for them.
Oh yeah, they had a shaky couple first weeks, but now, yeah, Denial looking great, and definitely looks like a team who could potentially even challenge Dignitas when we get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess for Denial it maybe is unfortunate that they drew them so early on.
Yeah.
Now that they've had time to settle, I think that's a really intriguing matchup that hopefully we'll get to see in the playoffs. But, you know, on the other side of the rift, it's another just disheartening performance from Overclockers. They just never were in that game. At any point did Overclockers really look to fight against Denial. Denial had such a big lead. there were those couple of solo individual plays, whether it was Kuban, whether it was Tabasco trying to get in there, but it just wasn't enough. And I don't know what Overclockers have to do right now with this lineup to really look at succeeding in the early game, because they seem to lose every game before it's even begun. Yeah,
it seems like back to the drawing board for them. But following their victory, we do have Wicked on the line to talk about his win. Hey, Wicked, how's it going?
Hello there, it's going pretty good. We just came with a convincing win.
I can imagine. It's a really convincing win, as you said, and a convincing performance on Now. I think that's where we wanted to start. 7-0-10 to finish the game. Wanted to get your thoughts on the Na into Yasuo matchup that Overclockers tried to run against you.
So I think Yasuo beats Gnar. That's also why we lane swap. We didn't want to play against him. And then we aimed at putting 2 against Gnar at all times. And whenever we didn't put 2 on him and he was 1 versus 1 against someone, he always got a kill. So we tried to keep 2 versus 1ing him at all times, pretty much.
Yeah.
I also wanted to get your opinion on the Gnar build that you go for very often with the Hurricane, throwing the Frozen Mallet, and also the Phase and sometimes the Black Cleaver. You're one of the only Gnars who does it. Why is that?
So I think you don't always need to be tanky to be able to CC the opponents and get a lot of control in the team fight. Like if you look at this game, I didn't die once and I didn't ever need to tank them, so I could just provide a lot of CC for my team and do a lot of damage with the Hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly has worked. Am I right in I think that's 100% win rate for that build in EUCS. So it's growing on me, Wicked. It certainly is. First time I saw it, maybe I was a bit skeptical, but certainly I am enjoying watching the Gnar performance. And I'm enjoying watching Denial play, especially now in the last couple of weeks. You guys have settled your roster. I know we spoke earlier in the week. What are your thoughts after winning the eSports Festival? How do you see your team has grown, and where do you think you guys can get to realistically?
Well, I think right now we're the strongest team because we did win the eSports Festival. Then we played Dignitas in challenges the first games. We lost our AD carry 4 days before the tournament and had to find a new one in 4 days and also get the synergy in, so that was impossible for us. So the first day when we were playing, we were not prepared at all. We had no chance, to be honest, against Dignitas. And then after a couple of weeks, we started to get better and better, and then we won the eSports Festival.
Yeah, I mean, it, as we said, certainly has been a lot of growth and makes our playoffs a whole lot more interesting with you guys on a win streak.
Yes, indeed, Stress. Well, congratulations once again, Wiccan. Congratulations on the growth and the team, and we will see you next week as well.
Thank you very much.
They haven't. I mean, they certainly have looked so much more impressive now with the time to settle, and now it really does... It's on playoffs to see I mean, Wicked says they're better than Team Dignitas. The results in the last week show that. The scoreboard from Challenger Series doesn't, but as Wicked was saying.
Yeah. All we need to see now is just see the teams play each other. Yeah. That's all we need to see. And it's going to be a couple weeks off seeing that, but I'm very excited because there's going to be more growth between now and the playoffs, and even from Team Dignitas. They've been looking better from week to week against every team they've played. So, yeah, very excited on that one. But that does round out all of our games for week 3. So let's pull up the standings and see where everyone is sitting. At the top of the scoreboard, Team Dignitas EU 6-0, closely followed by DNL eSports after their rise and Gamers 2 after their loss today. Then Mouse eSports sitting in the middle of the pack, and Ex Nihilo with their very first win on the board, and now Overclockers are the only one without a win.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in for Overclockers, but we'll find out next week if they can maybe undo that, or at least get themselves a win on the board. Because next week we'll be recapping the action from Tuesday's games, and then we'll start off Wednesday's broadcast with Mouse versus the now winless Overclockers, so don't miss that one.
Yeah, and then right after that, it's Game 2 for the Now eSports taking on Gamers 2, and then we'll be concluding the day with Ex Nihilo versus Team Dignitas EU. The action starts all over again at 1800 CET.
Now, if you missed any of today's games or want to watch any of yesterday's or any of the Tuesday's games in full, head over to lolesports.com for the VODs and much, 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 much more. You can get every region. We're on the road to Worlds, LPL, LCK. Get all of the League of Legends.
Insanity. Well, if that wasn't enough League of Legends action for you, tune in again at 12 AM CET or 3 PM Pacific time for Primetime League.
Yeah, I'll be joining Pyrotechnics to talk about Fnatic and everything EU LCS a little bit later on today. And after that, Freak and Zyrene will be bringing you week 3 of their Challenger Series from over the pond in North America.
Well, that's all from us here at the European Challenger Series. So from myself, Stress, and the Challenger broadcast team, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday.